All your schooling was here in Malad, and it was all up here at the old schoolhouses up here in the middle of Malad.
Is that the same school you went to, Brent?
The same schools that I went to, Mother went to, and all three, the elementary, the junior high, and the high school, are right on the same block.
Yeah.
Did you play any sports in school, Dad?
Oh, when I was a freshman, we had a freshman team. In fact, we played the first basketball game in that gym up here as freshmen at noon. We played the first game that was played in there.
For heck's sakes. And that was also the same floor that Grandpa Jones
Yeah,
sanded and got ready for.
yeah.
Okay. Thought I'd put that in because Mother forgot to tell us about that.
Yeah.
We'll add that to Mother's. Okay, so we talked about your best friends that you had in school. Was Delwyn and all those guys, or you're still your best friends when you're in school?
Oh yeah, but they were a year ahead of me. That's when I was stayed out that one year. They went ahead of me. They were good friends, but then cousin Fred Thomas, we were good friends.
Now, is Fred the one that got killed in the World War II?
Yeah,
School teacher
he's the one
best
that always told me that why I was bigger, because I got all of his milk.
Now he was killed on a boat, wasn't he? Was he
Yeah.
a prisoner of war? When
Yeah,
Was
he
he?
was.
Was that boat sunk by the American ship?
I think
you
so.
Okay, and then as far as education is concerned, your next class
Then I went, done his work in the temple for him.
for Fred, did you?
His mother come and asked me to do it, so.
Your next class was Dale Carnegie, right?
Yeah.
Tell a little bit about that class. Was that a tough one?
Dale Carnegie?
Yeah.
Well, it was just because you wasn't very smart enough.
Bart went with
But
you to that, didn't he?
They give it to us to make us better speakers.
That's what it's all about, isn't it?
Yeah.
And Bart took that class with you, didn't he?
Who?
Bart. Didn't Bart take that class?
Uh-uh.
No,
Well, I always thought he did.
no.
Okay.
But I made some good friends in there.
Did it help you, Dad?
Oh, it must have helped me a little. I wouldn't have been put in a bishopric.
Do you think that had something to do with being able to stand up and
Oh yeah,
conduct? Huh?
that was what it was all about. I had to do a lot of that in that school. And we had old Swede Hansen there with us, and he had us all going. Yeah.
Okay, how about, we're going to talk about courtship. Maybe you can know something about Mother that your mother didn't say, or something.
About what?
Well, your dates, I mean, she told about the first date was, do you remember the first date?
No,
Did you go to the show, or you don't remember what
we
you,
went to the show the night we got married.
The first date.
That was
we
her
went
honeymoon.
to a farewell party. They used to have dances for the missionaries, and we went over to the first ward to it. And when we got over there, he brought me home. And
first ward?
May and her, I think it was Bob Williams, that we were getting married, and that was our first date.
I hope this is picking up over there, Mother. But it was, your first date was over at the first ward, and it
Yeah,
was
we
for
were
a
having dance,
a missionary
farewell.
farewell
And a
dance.
dance, yeah.
Okay. And Dad brought you home.
Yeah.
That sound like that could happen, Dad? You act like you're not sure that happened.
Oh, I can remember something about it.
Okay.
I remember when the night we got Clem's car and went riding in it after.
Clem's car.
Yeah.
Tommy's.
Huh?
It was Tommy's car.
No, it was Clem's that night.
Clem didn't have a car.
He just had a little Ford.
It's pretty natural.
So
He had
a lot
little-
of dates, you had to borrow your brother's cars to go on dates once in a while, huh? They let
Yeah.
you borrow 'em?
He didn't
Oh,
have a car.
Clem was damn good. He kind of looked out for me.
He's a good guy.
Yeah.
And you give her ring, her engagement ring when, Dad?
Hell, I don't remember.
Was it for her birthday or?
Was it?
Yes, I think so.
Okay, and you got married in the Salt Lake Temple.
Yeah. There, in November the 22nd in 39.
You guys remember.
Got the same date anyway. Okay.
And she picked her face to peace.
I was so nervous that day,
She started digging at her face, huh?
And mother and dad went with us. Her mother went down the state with her relatives down there.
it was Morrison Opal.
Marge and Opal who?
Jones.
Okay. But she couldn't go in the temple with you, so.
No, she.
And Lyle's mother went through the temple with you?
Who?
Lyle. Lauren and Lyle's mother? You remember that, Dad?
Hell, I don't remember that.
Okay. Well,
Aunt Still and Uncle John.
Aunt Stella and Uncle John went through it.
Yeah.
Were you pretty nervous yourself, Dad?
Huh?
Were you pretty nervous?
No.
Just me. I picked my face until I was a son.
How did
I
that?
was just worried about going through there, but it was all right.
What did your folks, your family think of Mother? Was there a problem there?
No,
They were happy with your choice,
they thought she was kind of cute.
did they? Okay. All right.
But they was pretty proud of us to be married in the temple. Because we were the only family in our family that was married in the temple.
Either one of the
That time.
families. Either one of the families.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's great. Well, there's a place here where we got questions about your kids and talking about your kids, but Mother pretty well talked about that. If you want, what I'd like for you to do is talk a little bit about the farm and stuff like that, Dad. And when did your dad buy that farm up there?
Well, he
Little
had
Valley.
it before I was born.
So
He had that when I was born, I guess. But they had a farm up in Etamalata one time.
that was his first farm.
All of the Thomas family, each one of them had a farm up there.
So when Grandpa married Grandma, they bought a farm up there first. Then.
Well, they had one. I guess they all went together. I guess I don't know. All in together around the group there.
And how many acres do you think that farm is behind the M up there, Dad? Was it upper,
160.
both of them together was 160
No,
acres?
it was 160 in each one of them.
So 320 acres
Yeah.
is it farmed, and that was done mainly with horses.
Yeah.
You plowed and you.
Well, when me and Neil took it over after Dad died, we got a tractor.
A Caterpillar,
No,
a wheel tractor.
no, it was a crawler, but it was a,
International?
yeah, no. Could have been an international.
International Harvester.
We had an international deer green deer, or what do you call
John
it?
Deere. John Deere.
John Deere. That was a combine, but that was Dad's. He
Well, was
had
that pulled with horses? That combine?
Yeah.
That wasn't. It didn't go on its own then.
No, now when me and Neil took the farm over, and we got that tractor, then we pulled it with the tractor.
With the tractor.
But I think there was either 10 or 12 head of horses pulling it. And we had Charlie Ledenquist working for her mother, or for her dad, and Ed Vaughn. He done the driving. And Dad run the combine. He's the only one that could run it.
Hmm.
And on them hills, you had to level it, and your head bore, you had to watch that all the time, and the level up and down, and he was running everything, and he running the brake with his hip.
Hmm.
He was the only one. Oh, young Ed, he said, well, I figured he had the easiest job, so he changed. And Dad went back to driving, and I don't think it lasted over 1 or 2 days. Ed gave her back.
Did
He couldn't handle it.
he? Huh? So did you guys live in a house up there? Did you go up there? You
I
never
did.
did live up there in the house.
Mother and Dad did.
So during the harvest and stuff like that, you didn't go up there and stay in the
So,
house, huh?
so we'd just go up there and have dinner out on the ground there with the rattlesnakes.
Well, talk about the rattlesnakes. How many were there up
There
there?
were a lot of rattlesnakes. And I used to, if I heard one, I never let it get away. If they were in the cliff, the water, or rocks up there, I'd dig them out. I killed a lot of them. One year we was plowing up there, we killed 7 a day.
Hmm.
All summer long.
And you'd bring them back and do what with them?
Now there's an old guy down here that was, what do you call him?
Tanner?
Doctor,
Veterinarian?
veterinarian.
Mm-hmm.
He come to us and says, if you'll bring me them rattlesnakes, I'll give you $1 for each one. So when we'd kill them up, we'd hauling the hay down from up there. We'd just hang them on the back of the racetrack, or the hay track rack.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we'd have 5 or 6 of them. And when he had his building right there by the Second Ward Church, we'd go around that way and stop and let him take them off. But we never did charge him for it.
Hmm.
He used it for he'd get the poison out of him. He used for his rheumatism.
For next sense.
You never charged him though, huh?
No, we never did charge him.
Well, let's talk about your work during your lifetime. You were a farmer. You did what? Hay, grain, just about anything that. Well, it was all dryland farming that you did, right?
Yeah, well, we used to run this hay farm up on the
Oh, that's
flat.
right.
That was irrigation. I think we run that for, our dad ran it for 30 years, I think.
Was that just hay, or did you have
Yeah, that was just hay.
no wheat or corn? That wheat was
No.
all on the dry land?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then when did you go to work in the coal business? Your dad also worked for, what was his
Oh,
name?
yeah,
Allie
Richards.
Allie Richards.
E. Richards.
He owned the coal business,
Yeah,
and you and your dad worked for him, or all of his brothers worked for
Dad
him?
did, but then we'd help Dad delivery.
And it was so much fun, you thought maybe you'd like to do that as a livelihood?
I got into it with him, and then when his health went on him, I just done it for him. And we would haul coal all week long with horses. And if we was lucky, we would make $25.
Hmm.
And I give it all to him.
Oh,
And then I went to work in the elevator in the fall.
Crowthers?
Oh, I know, it's old Scott Hall, the one that burned down by
Oh,
coal.
right there by the coal.
And I made $25 a week there, and I give that all to him.
I was thinking that was 25 a month, but it was a
No.
week, huh?
Month.
And we got $1 a week to.
Was it a month or a week, Dad?
I think it was. I think it was a week.
Do you? Okay.
I thought it was pretty good money then. It was then.
$100 a month.
And I went to work over the Crowther for 3 years. and that paid 35 cents an hour. And I paid Dad's debt over there with that. That's when we got married.
That's when your dad died, he had a debt
No,
there that you paid.
He was alive.
He was still alive, but you paid it off his...
Yeah, he had a debt over there. And that's when we got married, and we lived over in Annie Evans's.
Mhm. Well, how many years after you got married did you give your dad money to help raise the family? Was
Well,
that-
until he died. Well, until we got married, I guess.
I thought you did that after you got married too.
No, I don't remember. I think I did. Paying his debt over there.
Yeah,
We were married then.
okay.
And
And then,
my home pay, after they took out from my dad, I would make home $13 a week.
and that's what you were living on?
Yeah,
13
that and I was working with,
We paid our rent,
well,
we did everything on that and saved $10. So when you were born, we had,
yeah, but I was working in the WBA, and we'd make it $40 a month.
for them, and is that when you helped build a square up there, put the
Yeah.
rock? Did you
I
helped lay
started
that
out
rock,
on
didn't
that
you?
rock fence, and then they took me and Jack Ed Jones and three of us and put us in the kitchen to cook for the school.
Oh,
And that's when we was paying for our rent, $10 on our furniture, and I think we saved $10 a day.
a month,
A month.
$10 a month.
Now,
okay. Now, you were your school bus driver for 43, well, I'm getting ahead of you, I guess. You went into service,
yeah,
you come back, you went to, well, you went to Ogden and worked at the creamery in Ogden before you went on the service, right?
no, after I got out of the service.
You went to American Fork before you went into service.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And you spent, what, a year down there?
yeah,
Then you came back, went into service.
yeah. They took me to service when we was down there.
Okay, and you were in for how many months or years you weren't in 2, were you?
About 11 months, I think, I don't know.
11 months,
He went in February and he got out in October.
okay. And then when you come back, is that when you moved to Ogden?
Yeah, when we got back, and I don't know whether Lauren got me going to see about the creamery job, and they took me right now. And then I was delivering milk and stuff to the stores.
What was the name of that company?
I was a
Was it Lucerne?
Clover,
Clover Club?
No,
Potato
was it?
chip.
That's potato chip. It seemed like it started with an L. Was it Lucerne?
clover, green clover, or
Shoot.
clover green, or?
I know where that place was at, right there on Wall Street. Where,
Yeah, I just
still-
told y'all a dozen times.
Where?
Every time we passed.
did you know where it was at? I remember.
Was it?
Anyway,
I don't know if it's still there.
what made you decide to come back to Malad?
That Allie Richards wanted to sell his coal business. And, well, I was working, after that, I was working in the mill down there.
You mean you quit?
Yeah, I quit to come back and take the coal business.
Well, I mean, you were delivering milk, then you quit and went to the mill down
No.
there, or you were doing both?
No,
I think we come home, didn't we take the coal business over?
But when did you work at was it General Mills or down there in Ogden?
Yeah, that's when Peggy, our Sue, was born.
Well, Sue was born up here.
Yeah,
Yeah, but they were here, I was down there
No.
in 1943.
And so you and Neil decided you were gonna buy the coal business.
Yeah. So we come up and bought it, and we worked it for a while. Then Neil got a chance to take the elevator. So he said, well, I'll take the elevator and you keep the coal.
Did you have to buy him out, or did he just move over to that?
I think he just moved over. I don't think we had it fully paid for when he moved. He just right there together.
So that was in 1943 you bought that?
No, that was 45.
After Bart was.
Well, that's right. Bart was born in 45, and it must have been that summer you come back up here
Yeah.
then, huh?
That's when the mill, Jones Mill, burned down. December the 10th,
1945.
1945.
Hmm.
And I was unloading the car coal into the bins when I seen the smoke and stuff. And I jumped out of there and went over there to help them. And I was in there helping them load the flour. And I looked out the side door. I had 10 coal bins there. They were all burned to the ground.
So did you lose
They
a lot
were
of money?
all full of coal.
So were you able to put it out? Or did you save any of that coal, or was it all gone?
No, we were lucky to save the office. And the other, Scott Hall's elevator was between me and Jones's there. That burned down. And that's what we was fighting the fire to stop, or to save our office. And we had a lot of people carrying water in buckets up on top of there and pouring to save it.
So you had that business. When did you retire from that, Dad? When did Brooks take over that? Was that, what year? About 75 or something like that?
Well, when I got sick,
Was it?
Brooks went on mission 70.
when was it?
What was it? So it was 80 then, in the 80s. Early 80s, I guess.
I guess.
All right.
82 probably.
If you could live your life over again, Dad, what would you do differently, or what would you do the same?
I'd go to school.
Would you? What would you be?
Telling, I don't know.
What would you want to be?
I don't remember what a
You've
interest
had
was.
you've had a good life though, haven't you, Dad? I mean, haven't you?
We've had a good life.
If you'd gone to college, or if you'd gone, you think you'd
Well, if I
would you
went to
come back
college,
and still taken over the coal business? You think, or would that have been something you'd have wanted?
I doubt it very much. We wouldn't have had the life that we've had if I'd have went through school.
You think you'd had a better life than you've had?
Well, I don't know about that. I think we've had a good life.
I think you have too. Well,
We've had everything we wanted. Maybe your mother has, but
No, the only thing I wish I'd done was gone to Hawaii.
then what?
gone to Hawaii. She'd like to gone to Hawaii.
No, that didn't bother me.
I don't know why you don't do it now.
Still got time. Still got time to go.
Couldn't make it now. Right.
Well, anything you want to ask, Brad?
Hey, your grandfather you're named after, what happened to him? Your great-grandfather?
Well, you know that.
Why?
One that got killed.
The-
The Indians.
The story is that he was killed over in Logan Canyon by the Indians. And they brought him back and buried him in Brigham, they figured, but we've never been able to find his grave. But Brad has found
Spot.
his wife's grave and some of her kids, I guess.
Oh, that wasn't hard. That's where he was killed at was hard, finding that.
Yeah. So we also know now where he was killed at.
Nobody will go with me to see it, though.
We saw the pictures.
I'll go with you. All right, so
He
that
knows where it is, but I don't.
that brings us up pretty much to date.
Well, that's good, because I run out.
Well, yours is
Well, you know,
better than mine.
We've got a lot of years. Well, it's about to run out here anyway, but we've got a lot of years we really haven't covered, you know, from, you know, up till now. I mean, you've been retired. You've lived down in St. George through the winters for about how many years do you think? Do you remember?
Must be 20 or more.
20 or more years in St. George in the wintertime. You made a lot of great friends and
I should say.
down there.
Yeah,
And now this year, next month you'll be 83, right?
yep,
83 years old.
October the 18th.
Trying to beat his sister's record of what year, how many years she lived at? 90?
She was 82.
No, I'm talking about your sister, Mary. How many years?
I think she was 93.
93. So that's what we're working towards today. We're trying to beat 93.
Oh yeah.
All
How
right.
about that?
Hey, thanks, Dad. Appreciate it.
Well,
Go
times
ahead.
that we've had together.
Okay, Keith Taylor. Mention Keith Taylor. Tell him how
And
you met
Gordon
Keith.
Griffiths. We had lots
And
of
Gordon
fun.
Griffiths was a good friend for many
Well,
years.
Keith Taylor come here in 1945, and we were playing church basketball, and we had the stake games, and he was up to the church house one night playing ball, and of course I knew him before that, but not to talk to. But after we played ball one night, he wanted to go down to have a milkshake. So we went down and had a milkshake. And the next morning, I was over helping Neil put that front porch on that house. And a screech come around this corner down here. And a big black car come up the street and throwed his brakes on, stopped, crawled out, walked over, grabbed me right there. He says, "We're going to be friends." What did he say? "I want to see how tough you are."
Who's going to be the toughest?
Yeah. No, he just wanted to see how tough I was.
No.
So we hit the ground right there. And I held him there for, I guess, for 45 minutes. And he said, "Okay."
You've been friends ever since.
Yeah,
They called it last Sunday.
yeah.
They
What about Gordon? Let's get the rest of this on there, and then we'll talk.
Oh, you're still on the.
Gordon, we got
Sorry.
kind of close together playing basketball, church. We started going out on Saturday nights and having supper. And we used to go to Las Vegas with him.
Used
He
to
would
hunt.
He would never go on a Friday,
13.
the 13th, and he would drive if it was.
Hmm.
And he had a heart attack out of Las Vegas watching him in one of the games down there, and the guy was making a lot of money. We had to take him out of there and take him to his room.
What about hunting? You did a lot of hunting with Thorpe.
Yeah, we done a lot of hunting. Old Canyon.
Spent a lot of time at Lions Club.
And we would go up there every year together with their family, our kids that is old enough, and our friends, camp out and cook in the one of them pots.
Dutch ovens.
Dutch ovens, yeah.
Yeah. We had a good times up there,
Yeah, we did.
and joking with one another, because some of them couldn't shoot very good. And Lamar Thomas, he rode right on the one that we'd knocked down, and on his horse, and he was going to kill him. He shot it 2 or 3 times, never missed him every time. He used to coax him or tease him about that.
Yeah.
And Tom Colton, He run on the one in the bush. He shot 10 times, never did hit him.
Well, I think we're out.
Okay.